It is Sunday, 2/22/26. Do you know where your children are?
I don't have any, so
You know what?
shit, they
We start
missing.
button and we in the middle of a blizzard. So I think that it's about time that we talk about people's favorite things that they want to do in the snow. Um, I hear an echo a little. Yeah, but so I think it's time that we talk about some people's favorite snow time pastimes. Games. This is what we do anyway because we just love games, and games are our life. Games are our enjoyment. Games are our peace. Games are what we have based this show around for 3 years. So um, I enjoy doing this with you guys, and I look forward to some good conversations.
Okay.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to be talking about whether Sony is killing its own legacy or not. If downloading a 20-year-old Pokemon game is actually theft. Is Xbox transforming themselves into something different with all of the major changes that they have going on? And, maybe a little bit of corporate shifts and takeovers. So, piracy and corporate takeovers is kind of our theme for today. But before we do all of that, first of all, welcome to Start Button Live, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. We enjoy having you here. There are a few milestones that we have. We appreciate the fact that you are loving our views, you are loving our shorts, and you are coming in and tuning in with us. If you can't catch us live, you can always catch reruns of the videos right on our YouTube channel. So be sure to tune in, like them, comment on them, subscribe to them. That'll help us get more content out to you. That'll also help us out so that we know the kind of stuff that you like. Feel free to hit us with suggestions. Pardon me. Feel free to hit us with suggestions. Feel free to hit us with comments and get our live and active feedback. One thing I will say, we are not experts. We are a bunch of people who have played games for a very long time because I'm not about to age myself nor anyone else on this show. But we have all played games for a very long time and we enjoy what we do. When we play our games, we have formed our opinions. Not all of our opinions are serious. And sometimes I say some things that I don't mean. Sometimes I say some things that are wrong. Deal with it. Anyway, as I said
He'll be all
before,
right. He'll just correct us.
sure,
He'll-
correct
like,
me. I'm always open for correction. When I'm wrong, and it happens. Anyway, welcome to Start Button. Here with us, we have our co-hosts, Mr. Rygen and
Yep.
Mr. Hustle Simmons. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You can find Start Button everywhere. You can find Start Button on Blue Sky if you want to. All you got to do is throw something in the air, type in Start Button Entertainment, and once you see our faces, you know it's us. So definitely be on the lookout for us. I don't know if we have a Twitter or X. Sorry, I don't know if we have an X.
We do.
We might, but not sure. Anywho, how you guys doing today? I talked a lot already.
Pretty good. Waiting for this Class 3 kill storm, to quote The Simpsons, coming in apparently today. Like,
Oh, we almost got rid of the
We have
snow.
nothing but kill storms. You know what's funny? We just got rid of the ice from the last one.
my lawn just saw sunlight again, and it was like, you know what, psych, 18 to 24 inches potentially. You're gonna be right back to where you started.
Why?
What's even funnier is, right? So they decided to okie doke us, and they were like, "All right, you know what? We've been predicting this crazy snowstorm or whatever, but we gonna fake you out, give you a little bit of rain." So it was raining this morning when I woke up. It's been raining all day. I turn my head and I'm like, "Oh look, that's snow now."
That's not even the worst part, because earlier last week it was saying like there's gonna be snow like an inch. Y'all fine. Maybe 3. All right, maybe 6.
Did it snow?
All right, they were saying today was only supposed to be like an inch or something like that, and then
Oh.
as the week went on, it was like, okay, y'all might die. Like, get everything you need, get all y'all supplies. It's like, like dead ass. It was just like drastic transition to like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a little flurry, nothing, and then it's like go to the store, get supplies,
Go
hold,
to the store.
hold your loved ones tight.
Bro, I saw a new symbol on my weather app. It was like 6 snowflakes and an exclamation point with a red triangle. I was like, I have never seen that before in my phone. Like, what? What are we getting?
Everything and nothing apparently.
It's a snow cane. Snownado.
All right, Shmoney. Perfect. So what you say about Pokemon Red? I don't have the luxury. I didn't have the luxury to play it as a kid. So being able to play it now and it only being $20 gives closure to the kid in me. That is a great topic. I think you're going to want to stick around because we are definitely going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about where the line is drawn. So when it comes to things like Pokemon Red being remade, like Fire Red, Leaf Green, number one, this is not the first time that they have remade Pokemon Red. They made Fire Red and Leaf Green, I believe, on the Game Boy Advance or the DS.
Yeah, it was Game Boy Advance after Ruby and Sapphire.
Yes. Yep. So that was the original remake of the original game. So now this is going to be another remake that you're going to be able to experience.
That's just a port.
Yes, essentially. That's what I'm. Sorry,
right.
A port of the Fire Red, Leaf Green.
But gotta be proper with our word in here before people yell us in the comments. So
yes, it's a port, not a remake. I apologize because a remake means that the studio is actually doing some work. My bad. But yes, so you'll get the opportunity to experience it, and I believe that it's a great game for $20. Now, what I will say is this: when we get there, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. But for now, we're going to start off with our question of the day. What game do you think deserves to be preserved at any cost, even if the publisher refuses to re-release it?
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Because like just off the top of my head, it's like Tetris, original Mario Brothers. Like it's kind of like I think it's like almost like when they have the film vault for like classic movies and stuff like that. That they preserve original copies of those movies like on film just in case whatever happens, all streaming, all digital copies somehow get erased or something like that. They still have the original film. They can then transfer into whatever medium or format they need to. So it's like that's when you said that, that's what kind of popped in my brain. So it's like we gotta have like the trailblazing games like being preserved for all time effectively. Like so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Tetris, Mario Brothers 1, like Sonic the Hedgehog, like a bunch of stuff like that. That's what pops in my head for like that.
Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 1, but you know, fight me.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, Sonic 2. Sonic 2.
I think
like, what happened to Sonic 1?
It's like be fine.
But could you imagine the future? Only Sonic 2 was forever. And like, what happened to Sonic 1? Like, we don't talk about that. It's just Sonic 2.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's not a bad game. I just,
second level, fucking terrible. Oh my god, that was the worst.
If I never played Sonic 1 ever again in my life, I wouldn't. I mean, if you told me that Sonic 2 was the first Sonic, then I literally would not have questioned you.
Sonic 1 is amazing. It's just that second world is like, bro, who designed this? That shit was terrible. Like people talk about the water temple, like towards the end is worse. I was like, nah. That second world slows down everything. Like you're so used to going really fast in the first, like the Green Hill Zone. Once you get to that lava,
you do know
zone,
that like that was a trend in Sonic for a good while. So the first mission or the first stage was always like dumb fast, right?
Yeah.
The second stage always slowed you down because they always added a water element. Because even in the second one, the Chemical Hill Zone.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was the third one at this point, but like they had water sections and stuff. It's just that in the first game, you had that whole water maze type thing. Huh?
Hydroplant Zone was that the third one? Was it? Yeah, that was the third one, right? Hydroplant Zone was the second level. Yeah, it was. Hydroplant Zone. which was another water level. Damn. But I don't feel like that one slowed you down like Chemical Plant and the Fire Ruin Zone in fucking Sonic 1. I don't feel like that slowed you down.
What was your favorite level in Sonic 2?
Sonic 2? Oil
Hmm.
Ocean.
Yes. All right. We can continue to be friends. We can be friends.
I'm weird. I like Mystic Cave Zone.
That's a good one too, though.
I like Mystic Cave Zone. A lot of people say they don't like that level.
Hits. That music is like.
You know. I need y'all to not judge me.
Oh Lord, what is he about to say? We apologize for whatever we apologize for what he's about to say. He can't control himself sometimes, so just like pre-warning. All right, go ahead.
I was a kid. I knew that I could potentially have a problem when I stayed on the gambling zone for way too long. Playing the slots.
Casino Night Zone?
Yes, Casino Night Zone.
I mean, it was
in Casino. When I say that I stayed on there way too long, I mean, how long would you take to get through the Casino Night Zone?
See, I can't even judge because I would at least have to get one jackpot when I was playing. I at least get one jackpot.
I would stay there for like 3 hours.
Okay, so that's a problem.
But then after you get that jackpot, you get hit with that triple Robotnik and just lose all that shit. It's like, nope, bye.
Yeah, that's exactly what my problem was. And then once I get hit with the triple Robotnik, I got to get another jackpot. And then like I'd be wanting to finish the stage with like 500 rings. It was a problem. It was a problem. Like legit, it was a problem. So that was when I realized that Tone shouldn't gamble. Tone don't gamble.
He just plays gacha games now, which is
I love gacha games.
I mean, that's you still gambling, but
listen, if y'all can just admit that, like everything would be fine.
I play Street Fighter Duel religiously. I was like,
I don't play that.
Oh no! Like I was like top 3% of the game without spending a lot of money. I just had a stupid comp I figured out.
My thing is that
I'm not saying this out of judgment because I play gacha games too. So like,
yeah, I mean, look. I'm gonna tell you straight up like this: if a gacha is the worst gamble that I got without putting money, because I'm a free to play player.
Yeah.
In most games, I'm either free to play or an extremely light spender. I do not do whaling. I don't care what game it is. I do not whale. I have other things that I can put my money into. No judgment for anybody who does whale, because I'm gonna tell you like this: if you got games like I have where you have spent 3, 4, 5 years of your life playing, if you spent $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in that game, sure, that's on you. Like you literally are finding joy in something for years. Like
maybe I'm a terrible person, but it depends how much you wailed before I like give you side eye.
You mean like spending $40,000 in a game to get a flying ship or whatever?
Like
70,000.
Oh, my bad. I was 30,000 off.
Because
like
all the outfits and stuff that you earned along the way. All the outfits and stuff that you earned along the way are available on the ship for everybody who comes to your party boat to wear and show off in.
That's cool.
And then the party boat is by invitation only. So imagine being Bill Gates or somebody who's not in the Epstein files that is actually rich. And but imagine you being a rich man and you went out and bought a super yacht. Okay. And so you decided, all right, I got this super yacht, but I'm by myself. What are you gonna do? You're gonna invite people over. So literally, and then obviously you gotta have security. So the invite is gonna be or the event is gonna be by invitation only, of course, because this is your darling precious super yacht. But what you do is you line up all the closets with like all of the best clothes. So that's literally what the concept is of this whole thing in the game, is that hey, I got a super yacht Come look at my super yacht. Come be on my. Remember what we used to do in GTA?
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing, just gotcha style.
I
In
don't know,
GTA,
man.
in GTA, it was a little bit better because you didn't have to gotcha, but you did have to get them shark cards so you can get enough money to get that thing. Because and I'm gonna be honest with you, doing it the normal way, I don't care how many shark cards you bought, you was spending over a G.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You knew how much it was, and you knew that the requirements was that you had to have, I think you had to have a business or something, or you had to do like a club or whatever it was. You couldn't just get a
Oh,
super
but
yacht.
yeah, for the new content, it's just like, oh hey, we introduced heists. Oh, you don't have a penthouse though? Like, so you know.
Right.
Sorry, this major feature that was supposed to be in the game day one, we locked
Yeah.
behind a expensive ass penthouse. It's like,
Yep.
oh,
and
wait,
then
hold
the
on.
newer feature, we introduced, you can open a company. Oh, you don't have a bike club?
Hold on, not even
Can't
that.
do that.
Let's take it a step further. You bought the penthouse, but it's only standard. You have to buy the add-on for the penthouse to be able to do the heist.
Yep.
Oh, you only had enough money to just buy the penthouse? Guess you can't do the heist, man.
Yep.
No, that is the. I swear to God.
So yeah, would you rather a game gotcha, or would you rather a game do that to you?
How about neither?
Because
Neither of them
gotcha is
don't
still
seem like
here's the
actual
thing.
consumer, like good consumer practices. They both
Gotcha's still
sound
gonna
cool.
give you free resources, and like, all right, so you got kind of a balance between gotcha garbage, where you need to, like, say, pull 5-star characters or whatever the star character, whatever the highest level of characters are. So the gotcha garbage would be you pull these super characters, and then you have to get duplicates of them. So that means that you have to get more than one copy, in order for these characters to be at maximum efficiency, maximum stats. But there are games where they don't necessarily punish you. First of all, they don't punish you for not having like the super characters, right? Like, you can get through the game, you can complete all the content with any characters that they provide to you. That's kind of similar to what Arknight Enfield is right now, according to a bunch of people. Like, you can literally beat the game. You can go through all of the content with any of the characters, the ones you start the game with, the ones they give you for free, whatever you pull, whatever. Like, they give you a wide variety. They have characters and they have weapons. The one thing that I appreciate that they didn't do is they did not Genshin us. Let me explain. In Genshin Impact, right? Come close. In Genshin Impact, when you gotcha for a character, right? You're like, oh, this character looks cool. I'm gonna try to get this character. So when you make the attempts to try to get said character, what ends up happening is you roll on this banner or whatever thing it says to do to get this character. And when you actually go through that process, they give you weapon, 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 maybe a little lower end character, weapon, weapon, weapon. So that means you're sitting there for hours trying to get this currency, or better yet, spending money to get this character that you want. In this game, in Arknight's Enfield, you don't have to do that. Go for a character, it's character, 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 character. But eventually you'll get the one you want. Now, that's what I mean by the more predatory versus less predatory. Some people like the gamba. It's seeing a little thingy spin makes my brain go itch. And it's like, oh, that feels good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
it's the prospect of winning that people are addicted to.
Correct.
Or the chance of winning that people
Correct. So everybody needs a little bit of gamba in their life, in some way, shape, or form. If you're telling me you've never taken a gamble, I'm going to say that you're lying, because even when you gamble on that fart, you're gambling.
That is true, man. Yeah, because that fart could end up being a trip to the bathroom or a trip to the laundromat.
You gamble on the fart. Sometimes, most times it pays off. Most times it pays off. So again, you're still gambling. All right.
Second thing is,
So
like, this feels like it's gonna be just high.
he said,
Maybe at
gamble
one
on a
time where
fart.
it's just like,
Hello.
oh no.
She said, "Hello, yeah, V. I don't know. You
Oh,
can't tell
no.
me you ain't never gambled on that little stomach pain and feeling like you got to just release a little bit of pressure. You can't tell me you. Oh, Shmoney, you said something that's what we're going to touch on. You did play it on an emulator and couldn't fully beat it because it was on an emulator. So that's fine. We gonna get there.
We got you.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Judge free zone.
All right. So when games like Pokemon Fire Red or Pokemon Red, no, not while having the bubble guts or the runs, V. I'm talking about when you feel a little bit of pressure. You don't know whether you got the bubble guts or the runs. And sometimes, you take that gamble, you go to let it look, and you realize, oh, now I have the runs. Like one of those type of things. Anyway, we're not talking about toilet humor here. We're talking about games. Back to the games. So anyway, do you think that ownership of a physical copy gives you more rights to a ROM? Like you went to the store, you bought your physical copy. Do you think that you should get a ROM too?
I don't know if you're
I feel like I stumped y'all today.
I don't know if you're entitled to a ROM, but it's also like, don't try and get on me if I ripped it and made a ROM myself. Because I bought the product and I can do what I want with it. If it's like something physical. Like that.
So what you're saying is that
but then it gets to the legality thing. As long as I'm not distributing it, then I feel like there shouldn't be an issue like that.
So the second that you give that ROM to your friend, you should see ramifications.
Technically, yes.
Legally, yes.
Yeah, legally, yes. You should get ramifications. But however, if I rip something for my own personal use, and then the company finds out, it's like, you can't do that. I'm like, why? It's mine. I bought it. But I wanted
short
to
of how you would rip it, because that number one, that leaves questions in and of itself. But what are you using it in? Like if you rip it and make it a digital version, I guess like in today's age, sure. But like, for example, how are you ripping original Pokemon Red from a Game Boy cartridge? And then what are you using it on once you rip it? Like, are you ripping it and then creating it into a digital version so that you can download it on your Switch so that you can play your game on like your software that you have had for 30 years on a console that is no longer compatible because your Game Boy disappeared 25 years ago?
Well, I mean, the cartridge
or your Game Boy Color has been sitting in a bin for 27 years with no batteries, and then when you open up the battery back and you realize that the battery acid spilled all out, so there's nothing that you can do in order to clean off those battery terminal contacts, and so you realize that the Game Boy Color doesn't work anymore.
For that, I was gonna say the cartridge is just a storage unit. That's
correct.
That's all it is. It's a storage unit. The file is stored on that, but you can access the files somehow because it's like they had to put the file on a computer because things are made on a computer, right? Or at least the dev kit, which is still a computer, whatever. So they have the file. The file is separate. Then they put the file on the cartridge. Then they ship the cartridge out. And then whatever console it is, it activates that thing, right? It activates that file from that cartridge. So somehow, somewhere, someone found a way to strip that file off of that storage unit, which I'm assuming by some method of hookup to a physical computer to just.
All you need is a reader, bro.
Yeah,
If you got a reader, you put the reader into a computer. You utilize the reader. Once the reader is in the computer, it's supposed to basically read all of the information that is on
Yeah.
said thing, and then you can just hard download it, save it. Shmoney, that's a topic, but we'll get there. We're not there yet.
it was much easier to do it once they switched over to discs.
You said once it's much easier to what?
Once they switched over to discs, it was much easier.
Yeah,
to just
yeah, because then you
ISO
had
files off.
CD burners and CD rippers and things of that nature, and so that's why they
That's
started.
Dreamcast.
That was
If
okay.
it was just basic CDs.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think that was the failure of Dreamcast, or one of the failures.
Yeah, it was a contributing factor. Yeah.
It's a lot of things.
Because Dreamcast was highly pirated, but there were many. Dreamcast was literally the business model for what not to do. Don't release your console right behind Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Don't oversaturate the market with consoles, which is why now we have a 8-year life cycle on a video game console instead of getting a new console from one company every 3 years, 2 years. That you're doing too much at that point. Okay, so if a company doesn't sell a game for 20 years, should they still control it? Should it be released like a patent? Like
Should it
should it
go to the free market, kind of like
a patent?
Kind of like yeah.
Because a patent is only for about 20 years, and 20 years includes development time.
I think if they don't actively release it in some fashion, then the code should be released in some kind of way to release it. It's like what's been happening with a lot of Disney properties past couple years, because like Winnie the Pooh is now the public trademark. That's why we get like the Blood and Honey movies. Steamboat Willie is now in public trademark. That's why we got a Steamboat Willie horror movie now. There's Popeye there's 2 Popeyes horror movies now. So it's just like people do it for movies. Why can't they do it for video games?
Yeah, public domain. I think video games should be public domain. A lot of them should.
Okay.
I know Nintendo's gonna fight against that because they're just like, hell no, we don't want our shit in public domain. I know they're gonna fight against that.
So, all right. When did Shadow of Mordor come out?
2014.
2014. So if we go by development time and we go by all of that stuff, then that means that if it's patented, the Nemesis system should be available within the next 6 years or so. 6 to 8 years. Whenever they originally filed this patent, it should be a patent for 20 to 25 years from the original filing, right?
Earliest potential is 2034. If it's 20 years.
But the problem is they shouldn't have been able to patent.
What's going on, chap? Yeah, so he said Steamboat Willie falls under trademark law. And something like a 50-year precedent.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Now, where do we get the dip? Because trademark laws could be 50 years, right? Patents are 20 years. Where do we fall under an area where things are going to free trade, where people can do things? Like we see this whole Nintendo Power World thing that we've talked about numerous times, and Nintendo is failing to uphold whatever their lawsuits are. You know what I'm saying? But like, even loosely basing things off of Pokemon starts giving people actual fear. And why? Is it trademark? Is it patents? Like Nintendo is going to patent court. They're not going to trademark court. They're not saying that you're violating our trademark.
I don't think that you should be able to patent gameplay features, right? Because if someone were to say like, well, you can't have, well, we patented turn-based combat. That would have destroyed RPGs. And turn-based combat is really only just Dungeons and Dragons. Am I wrong? Is that not what turn-based RPGs? It's Dungeons and Dragons. It follows the same rules.
What was first? Was it Dragon? Because Dragon Quest was before Final Fantasy, correct?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
yes.
What was before Final Fantasy?
But the original Dragon Quest. I think it was before Final.
I think so.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, imagine Dragon Quest. Well, imagine if it were just like, now trademark all these trademarks, so we get no Final Fantasy, we get no other RPG games like that.
Persona, no Shin Megami Tensei, none of that.
All right, so Goji said, I think that at least companies should be forced to optimize older games to be able to run on modern hardware, or at least release the code to the internet so do what they will do what they please. And the issue isn't the patent on the mechanics; it's the harboring of them.
I feel the
So,
same
for
way.
instance, as I just mentioned, that Nemesis system, that was a great thing that that company came up with for Shadow of Mordor, but we'll never see it again. As long as it's under those patents, no other company can develop a game concept where the enemies learn from you. We might actually see something like it soon with AI, and how AI can do learning, and at some point there were games and there will be more games that will learn your play style. And once it learns your play style, it'll adjust to your play style and kind of force you to change. Like, there have been games where like it's learn your play style, and if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it'll compensate for it. The Nemesis system was a little different because you could beat a boss, they would retreat, they would come back, they would remember what you did, and they would remember methods that you used, and they would counter them. And then once you beat them for good, then an underling would come up.
Yep.
That's a dope system. And they were kind of ahead of the game.
Would have been great for Batman.
Oh, Chappie said, yeah. Yeah, Chappie, the point I was making was it's the same, like, kind of umbrella, trademark, copyright, everything like that. Whether basically how long of time should go by if something is not touched, should it then be allowed to be back to the public?
What's considered not touched?
Like, game that popped in my head recently, we were talking about the other day, Killzone 2. I've been wanting Guerrilla Games to remake, remaster, or at least port up Killzone 2 to PS5, PC, something for a while, because it's strapped on the PS3. But since they haven't touched it in over, God, when did Killzone 2 come out? 2008?
Something like that, yeah.
18 years since we had anything Killzone 2? Like, we had Killzone 3, had Killzone Shadowfall, obviously, but 2 is the best one still out of the 4 games to me. Like, by far. But
so you said we had 3, we had Shadowfall. So they've touched the franchise.
Yes. Yeah, the franchise where it gets muddy. It's just like, as long as they're still making stuff with the franchise, but there's a couple one-shot games that haven't, like, we haven't had a Genji in 18 years? 2007? 19 years? Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of franchises that are dope that I would like to see come back. They were just like, oh yeah, like, it's like they have a library and stuff, like, oh yeah, we did make that. Anyway, next game. Moving on. Like, there's stuff they can put out.
Doji, we'll get to that. We're getting there. That's what I'm saying. Y'all need to stay tuned in all show, because we're getting.
Look at how long we had to wait for Metal Gear Solid 4.
How about the Delta remake? Delta, literally is
not even just that. 4 was
no. What I'm saying is, look at how long between 4 and Delta. Look at the distance between 4 and 5. Look at but notice that Rising and all these other little things that they've been sprinkling in are still keeping their franchise refreshed. And so the overarching law means that they're still doing something with it, which means that they still have to, they have to manage that, and they still can keep those exclusive rights. Now, should it be one of those things where, like, if you don't use it, you lose it? Is that fair? Like, if it's your IP, if it's something you came up with, if it's your studio, your talents, things like that, and you don't do it, like, say you wrote a comic, you drew a comic, right? And you like, you know what? I'm gonna one-shot this, and I'm not gonna touch it ever again. 20 years later, it's just free for anybody else to do something with it. Does that sound fair though? Like,
I get with the IP argument, but I think they shouldn't be as so, like, greedy is not the right word, but just like I get when you want to protect your IP, you don't want to make reflect badly on you if someone makes something look bad. But I feel like they should be more lenient if, like, let's say like a good indie studio approach like Sony, like, hey, we would like to make, I don't know, a side scrolling Ratchet and Clank like Contra game or something like that. Like, if that's like, I know they're still making Ratchet and Clank, but let's say Ratchet and Clank was like, we didn't get a game for like 10, 15 years or something like that.
I got you.
But would Sony, should Sony just be like, no, or should they actually consider it? I think the problem is that like they don't consider like licensing out a lot of these stuff to other companies to give a shot for it, and they just let it sit until they decide to either do a remaster or a port or something like that. But if other companies approach them and be like, hey, we really like this game, can we take a shot at trying to make a new? Let's say it's an established studio, like let's say the Expedition 33 teams is like, hey, we want to take a shot at making like a Star Wars game or something like that. Or like,
well, I mean,
like
the difference is that they could have Star Wars because they've been shopping studios, and now it's no longer under exclusive EA contract.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, imagine if like all these companies just never allowed any of the other people to touch their stuff ever, like the new Sons of Sparta.
You mean like EA with Madden and the NFL?
Exactly. Yeah. Like other people can make goddamn NFL games, but EA's got that's their own, one of their main money makers, so they're never going to give it up.
Contract, because the NFL did not want the game's quality to be diminished by going and allowing various licensors out there.
Too late. So they do it themselves.
Yeah, but you remember there used to be NFL Game Day, there was NFL Blitz, there was
ESPN,
NFL, ESPN, NFL football. They had you had Madden. So
and all pro football, like all those other weird spin-off games.
Yeah. So getting to what the chat is saying. Chappie said if he saw a passionate fan base for that IP, I'd give that IP to the fans to continue on his legacy. Now, Chappie, there's something that I can actually use to counter that argument. Okay. Akira Toriyama in Dragon Ball. He made Dragon Ball. He went into Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was supposed to end after Frieza. Goku going Super Saiyan was supposed to be the end all be all. The fans loved the IP. They passionate. They pressured him. They asked him to continue on and keep making it, and he trudged on and continued to make that show and adding more. And he actually, I'm not gonna say that he low key hated it, but like
he burned out. You can tell he burned out.
He did, and there was so much, and we as the fan base could see the quality of things or the progression of things kind of get repetitive. Or they started feeling like they were going downhill, or we started feeling like the animation wasn't as good, or we started feeling like the effort wasn't as high. So asking someone to continue on with an idea that's supposed to be complete can also be detrimental to the whole overall identity of a franchise or an IP, in my opinion.
I agree. I think some things need to end, and that's just we close that off and we start something completely brand new that has nothing to do with that.
Correct. And for Doji, you said, I don't think that you should lose your IP, but other people should get access. I think that that's also a very, very messy, muddy system. Because if other people get access to something that I, number one, thought up and created, right? It's mine. I made that. I was nice enough to not keep it to myself, but to give it to you guys. And you were nice enough to give me money, right? But when it's over, it's over. I don't think that you should have access to my creative ideas and something that I came up with so that you could diminish my original vision.
You know what it is? It ends up becoming the Star Wars expanded universe problem. Because there was a point in time when George Lucas used to own Star Wars, and he allowed the expanded universe to happen, where people could just make anything on anything from Star Wars, and I believe the agreement was he didn't even have to like approve it. He just okay, there you go. You can.
No, they just got it was they work with certain writers. Certain writers pitch certain ideas, and Lucas, because George Lucas didn't oversee every decision. He kind of like
he did not.
He delegated it to basically his executors of the Star Wars IP. That's why we had so many comics and books and like video game like that had expanded universe characters and stuff like that, like the Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, like Dark Forces, like all those games are all expanded universe characters and stuff like that. But then it was like we got, and I agree to a certain point because as much as I like a lot of the expanded universe stuff, it did get a lot of it was bad, and there was too much going on. It's and so that's why when Disney took over, there was just like, yeah, everything before this is not canon, like except for the stuff that we're touching.
And now
Chappie said that argument is muddy as well because some of the things in the expanded universe is genuinely considered better or at least improvements on the original idea. The problem that I see with that is here's the problem that I see with that. You're bound to get something that could be better or a great add-on, but how much spaghetti are you going to throw at the wall until you find ones that stick?
I'm gonna raise something against.
And why do you have to be okay with it?
I'm gonna raise something against what you just said, Chappie. We're gonna take the Five Nights at Freddy's universe because that shit is all canon now. All of it's canon. All the games now are canon because Scott Cawthon, the creator of it, was just like, y'all can do whatever you want, and it all be canon. And there's so much shit now. There's so many games now that people have created that contradict the original Five Nights at Freddy's shit that I'm just like, I don't understand nothing now. Like you have all these different areas, that all have animatronics. That's just like, this doesn't make sense with the current story we had with Five Nights at Freddy's. So what are we doing now? And then you end up with problems like that when you don't kind of control your own IP. So it's like there's a good and bad. I think it really depends on. I feel like it depends on the IP. What are the established rules of said universe, right? Because realistically speaking, Dragon Ball you can do shit that doesn't have anything to do with Goku at all. You can make Dragon Ball shit that has nothing to do with Goku. You have so much lore and history there.
That's why people love Rogue One so much because it's like, I mean, yeah, Vader's in the movie, but it's like, oh, look, and that's why people love Andor so much. I like not seeing shit caused by the same family in every corner of the galaxy. I like seeing all these other things that happen. Like Andor's phenomenal, but it has nothing to do with like directly talking to or having scenes with any Skywalker people. It's like, it's just literally the politics of that universe and being in the Empire, trying to take down the Empire. It's great. If anyone hasn't watched Andor, you gotta watch Andor. If you like
That's what also made me interested in 13. Was it 1313? The canceled Star Wars game?
The Boba Fett game. Yeah, 13.
Yeah. That's what made me interested in that. I was like, holy shit, what is this? Like, yo, I gotta play this. No Jedis, no nothing. In my opinion, I feel like Star Wars is more interesting when there isn't space wizards battling each other. At least now.
Okay, so I kind of want to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty because we've been discussing, the various preservations and things of that nature. There was actually a reason that we brought this up. So Blue Point Games. This is just a little background for audience. Blue Point Games. Blue Point Games is a company that was, I believe it was owned by Sony, or it was like a kind of like a Sony style company, and it was known for high quality remakes. So they did the Demon Souls PS5 remake. They did Shadow of Colossus remake. They were kind of seen as custodians of PlayStation's legacy. They had like a pair of they were like basically a pair of safe hands. Like other companies knew that they could give Blue Point their games and they would make a great remake. So it wouldn't be that company that originally made the game putting in all of this work and sinking all of this money into doing the remake. Blue Point was strictly doing these remakes and these remasteries and things like that, and improving upon games that already existed. And it was legal because obviously it was from one company to another. That studio, they understood the tone and fidelity of the games that they were working on, and they knew how to kind of bring out more from the original game. So now Sony has decided to close Blue Point Studios or Blue Point Games. They've now closed that studio, and now it's part of their restructuring. Trying to move more into live service projects. A lot of those also those live service projects have been canceled or scaled back. I think if I'm not mistaken, again, I could be wrong. I think the nearest live service project that a Sony studio is working on is Marathon.
Yeah, I think that's the last really big.
At least that's the one. No, High Point just came out, right?
Horizon.
Or High Guard.
That's
Is
not
High Guard a
Sony.
Sony studio?
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
It's
Not from us.
it's just ex like Respawn devs in a couple.
Oh,
of
okay.
those, yeah.
Got you. All right. I just want to make sure it's not like a Sony studio and that's also included in there.
So yeah, Blue
Live
Point
service.
didn't start off like as a subsidiary. Like they started off being like licensed because they did like the God of War
Absolutely.
collection, Ico Shadow Glass, and Metal Gear Solid HD.
Yeah, but they did a lot
Uncharted
of PlayStation games, and
Yeah.
so Sony just was
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Yeah, so yeah, we like just come on over. You're one of our studios now. And then
Yeah.
Well, no,
So a lot of fans are upset because Blue Point was associated with prestige. They were associated with nostalgia. They knew how, because obviously when we look at games that we've played in the past, we look at games with those rose-tinted glasses, those rose-colored glasses. So we can think back to Final Fantasy VII and be like, yo, that was one of the best games that I ever played in my life. You turn on Final Fantasy VII right now, the original one from PS1, and you realize that Cloud's muscles look like blocky polygons, and you don't really enjoy what the visuals look like in that game, and you don't like the fact that they all look like extra shrunken
the super deformed
chibi
look?
characters when you're walking around in the overworld. But
Yeah.
then when they get into combat, they actually have humanoid looking character models. Like, you start realizing, oh, well, maybe like it wasn't as good as I thought it was, but I remember this game being amazing back in the day. Or when you start reminiscing about a boss that you fought in that game, and then you play it now and you like, hey, yo, this is dead easy. And you realize maybe I was just stupid back then. Like, maybe I really just lacked intelligence and know-how and how to complete a game. And now that I have a more developed brain, this is actually much simpler than what I thought it was. Like, we look at games in that way. When you go back and you play something, that's not muscle memory. It's just easier for you to understand. So Blue Point did a great job in making sure that they preserved everything that you felt originally and still making it just as challenging or just as dynamic as it was when you first experienced it, while bringing it to modern times. So a lot of people are obviously upset about things like that. Sony invested heavily in the live service initiatives, and it still hasn't paid off. They're still investing into live service. They bought Bungie, for the whole Destiny aspect. They've done a lot of live service stuff. And can you name, besides Destiny 2, one Sony live service game that is seeing a fair amount of success at this moment?
None.
As a
They
fan,
don't
I'm
exist.
upset about it.
They're not.
And again, there could be one. Somebody in the comments is gonna give us, oh, blah blah blah. We understand. Let us know
Hold on.
which Sony live service property from these initiatives that they have given us, which Sony live service property is actually good, enjoyable, and successful long term besides Destiny 2. And I don't even think that started as a live service property from Sony, because that's Bungie.
yeah, it didn't start under Sony. Like they just happen to own it now.
I got one, and y'all gonna be like, "What's he talking about?" DC Universe is like the only
DC Universe Online.
the only successful live servicing that they have.
I mean,
Okay.
but when did that first come out?
That's not under their live service initiative that they've been
Oh,
doing.
not on,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not on the live
Yeah.
service.
And also there's only one. It's Helldivers 2.
There you
yeah,
go.
You're right.
Helldivers 2.
You're right.
There's only one.
You're right.
It's Helldivers 2.
Yeah, that's it. Helldivers. That's it.
I was about to make a statement, and it's probably really wrong, but I'm almost No, it's really wrong. Because I was gonna say, I feel like Ubisoft's live service initiatives are better than Sony's.
They are. They have Rainbow Six.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege has been going strong. They just added Solid Snake to the game.
Rainbow Six.
The
For
problem is
Honor,
that with
Hold on,
Ubisoft
hold
live
on.
service initiatives,
Rainbow Six, For Honor, Division 2, all three are still active.
Division 1,
Fucking Skull and Bone.
I've heard Skull and Bones. I've heard Skull and Bones is it's not
I'm gonna say this.
great, but is respectable now.
I'm gonna say
it's
this.
the first quadruple A
on.
game ever. What do you mean?
You're
it's
right.
not great.
You're right.
That
My
game
bad,
is
my bad.
amazing, bro. Like,
I-
Skull and
Ooh,
Bones?
Wait, also, you know what?
How dare you insult my pirate ship on the sea can't get off the boat game?
You know what
Right
also
now.
counts? The Just Dance games.
yeah. Just Dance games. No, the Rabbids games aren't live service.
No,
Ubisoft's live service initiatives have done way better
Hold
than
on.
Sony's.
Hold on. I'm gonna only say this because I don't want like the weird mob. But I'm gonna give y'all this one. Just this one. Skull and Bones.
You about to
lasted longer than-
Kanye us?
Hold on.
You about to
Skull and
Kanye us?
Skull and Bones has lasted longer than Concord did. Let
That's
that
true.
sink in. Let that
But
sink
Skull
in.
and Bones is the
still
first quadruple A game ever.
Skull and Bones is still active. Concord died like what, a week after it was released?
Hey, it was
Bro.
like 16 days. All right.
Bro.
Don't let a
Bro.
pirate game
Bro,
defeat y'all.
quadruple A versus single A.
That is crazy.
Which battery gonna give you more juice?
You have to go with Skull and Bones. They beat them. They beat them. Skull and Bones is critically panned and was a disaster at launch. And they have been more committed to that game
We
than Concord.
we talked about this on a previous episode a couple weeks ago, where it's like Ubisoft will release shit, but they will at least try to fix it the best they can to make it stable. They did it with Avatar: Pandora's Bar. They did it.
Yeah.
They did it with Skull and Bones. Like, I mean, I would like to say they did Division 2, but I don't think they did. That's like,
They're now adding in a one-shot kill mode now. So like guns do what guns do now
in Division 2.
Yes.
Jesus.
I can't wait to play it.
Okay. Back to Blue Point Studios though.
I will say though, hold on, before we go. I will say though, they did give up on Hyperscape. That was like the only thing that was just like, yeah, we can't do nothing with
they
this.
gave up what?
Hyperscape.
Oh yeah.
Ubisoft gave up on that motherfucker. They're like, well, that and X Defiant.
X Defiant. There was also that one game. Well, it probably was the one game where they were trying to combine all of the different players from the different IPs into a shooter.
Yeah, that was X Defiant.
X Defiant. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
I figured
not
that was the same thing.
it.
The
But that
problem
was
with
like mechanically, they just weren't All right, Hyperscape's problem was time to kill was too long, and X Defiant's problem was guns did not play well, in my opinion.
So Blue Point Studios closing, it raises concerns about studio stability and what the future is looking like. So my question is, why acquire a remake powerhouse, then not use them for remaking your games? Like, you could have had them remake the original God of War.
Not even just that. You could have had them remake Legend of Dragoon.
You could have had them remake anything. And you, instead of utilizing this company, you just let them sit there and twiddle their thumbs while they sat on their hands.
Collect a
And then you
paycheck.
close their studio.
Because they buy them.
Well, the next thing they were working on was what? God of War live service game? That was the next thing they had.
Oh,
Do we need that?
No, we didn't need that, but I think that's what they had them working on for some stupid ass reason. It's like granted, if I was a game developer, I wouldn't want to be shoehorned into just making remakes, remasters. But
That's
if my
fine.
studio's good at shit, and
The studio crap, bro.
Yeah, if the studio's gonna shit, just keep having them do that. Like,
if all right. So if I'm the head of High Guard, or no, wow, if I'm the head of Blue Point Studios, right, and Mr. Sony comes, if you closing my studio down, do you think I'm not gonna fight back for my people, for my art, for my craft, for my job? Bro, I don't know who's making these decisions, but
Same people
I don't like them.
the same people who made the decision for a multiplayer Spider-Man game. That was
Whoa,
real.
whoa, relax. That sounds fire.
nah.
No.
Nah.
So
No.
we telling me that the Spider-Verse doesn't exist. Multiple universes of various whatchamacallits, various Marvels doesn't exist. So this Marvel multiverse can't be a multiversal. We all use a different Spider-Man and we go out and we beat up all of these different versions of these villains. That's crazy to me.
I feel like
I love Spider-Man.
I feel like
You
the
love
actual
Spider-Man,
multiplayer aspect
And you
wouldn't.
love Spider-Man, but we can't all be Spider-Man.
I feel like the actual multiplayer aspect wouldn't play well in that regard. Like, look at
Bro,
look
could you
look what
imagine
Gotham
me
Knights
doing
gave
a
us.
whip and spider kick combo into the air while
He's
you
right.
whip this dude down
Nope.
and you web him up to the wall and then
No.
you come along and you
No.
just punch him in the face with the shocking fist? Come on, bro.
No,
No.
I don't think they could make that work well.
Yeah,
Because-
Gotham Knights. That
Because
worked well,
Gotham
didn't it?
Knights, it should have worked like that, and it didn't.
It also didn't help that Gotham Knights was 2-player only and not 4-player, except for 4-player in like a certain mode, which is like, fucking why? Okay, why?
You really want me to speak on the Gotham Knights?
I played it.
I did too.
It was okay.
All right. I'm about to piss somebody off now. Spider-Man is better than Robin. Any version of Robin.
No,
Well, Spider-Man's better
Any
than
version of Batgirl. Spider-Man better, bro.
I mean, Spider-Man's better than every other superhero in general.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
What is it? Like,
No.
I can't even say that because y'all both gonna be biased towards
No.
Spider-Man.
No.
First off, you can't compare Spider-Man to any of the Robins. Spider-Man has power.
Which is why we can't compare this
Spider-Man has
conceptual
power.
Spider-Man multiplayer awesomeness that's in my head to Gotham Knights.
Spider-Man has powers, they don't.
Exactly.
That's
Which is
like-
why it would work
No.
better.
Like, if you want to compare,
The idea is great, but I feel like they would never get the execution down.
Was Maximum Carnage multiplayer?
yes.
Yeah, it's 2-player.
Okay. Was Maximum Carnage fire? Hey.
I love
Hey.
that game
Hey.
is fun, but
Hey.
it is awful at the same time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
It's
It's like-
not well made.
It
On
was
LG
Sega Genesis.
Listen,
It
I
was Sega
enjoy-
Genesis.
Super
Relax.
Nintendo, red cartridge.
Sir,
Relax. That was fire.
I enjoy them LGN games that they all just pumped out, but they were not good.
I mean, again, that's what we were absorbing at that time. That was popular at the time. It's just like Fortnite is popular now. So you know what they did? They started cranking out a ton of battle royale games.
yeah, but that's also why Sony's chasing the live service thing. It's Fortnite and like mainly Fortnite.
So would you
That's what
say
they're
that Sony is chasing Fortnite money instead of protecting its own brand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all these companies are doing. They're chasing Fortnite money. It's like that's not
All these companies are doing what Warner Brothers was doing prior to the new DCU, was trying to catch up to Marvel. And it's like, oh shit, we got to speed run and make all these DC movies now. It's like,
Yeah.
just make good movies that are DC properties, and you'll be
I
fine.
know that this is about to be clippable, and I know that. But V said my spirit animal is Spooderman, and so I'm here for it. And the only retort that I have to say about spirit animal being Spooderman is the fact that it got to be Spider-Man's. Spider-Man's. When you say Spider-Man's, you got to put the respect on Spider-Man's name and put the S at the end of it. Spider-Man's. Spider-Man's. Okay? Spider-Man's. We need more Spider-Man's games because
Yeah,
Spider-Man's games be fire. I need a Spider-Man's League of Legends.
Did Marvel? No, Marvel did not make a MOBA.
No, they did not. There was DC had Infinite Crisis, but which I love Infinite Crisis,
I
but then
missed
they
that.
like
I missed that.
Y'all in the comments going crazy. Spider Peppa Pig is wild. But anyway, Spider Pig is fire though. See, look, if they made a multiplayer Spider-Man game, I'd be Spider Pig. That's fire. Like, why does that not work? Why? I want to play this doppelganger one time. Let me,
Here's the thing. Hold on.
bro. Let me actually have Spider-Man with the 8 arms and with the 6 arms and the 2 legs.
But you know what the problem ends up being? It ends up possibly being fucking Avengers. That's what it ends up being. Do
You know
want
why
that?
Avengers? All right.
Do you want Avengers? Because that's how you get Avengers.
Do you know why Avengers was Avengers? You ready? Ubisoft.
That wasn't Ubisoft.
Skadoosh.
That wasn't Ubisoft.
Oh no, was it
That
Square?
was not Ubisoft.
the Avengers game?
Yeah.
That
Wasn't
was,
it Ubisoft?
no,
Square?
it was Square.
Whatever.
Yeah,
There you go.
bro.
Square. Now I'm
Crystal
automatically,
Dynamics
blaming,
specifically,
I'm
yeah.
automatically blaming it on Tetsuya Nomura.
It's like actually Crystal Dynamics.
I'm still blaming it on Tetsuya Nomura.
It's because it
I don't
didn't
like that
work,
guy,
bro. Like, listen, you make a co-op looter.
It's still
game
Ubisoft's fault though.
with
Just
no
because they're going
visual
down the drain.
fucking loot. Like, no. How would that even work?
No.
Gonna make it a loot
Nobody
game
said
with
it
no
had to be.
visual loot?
Nobody said it had to be. No, is Crystal Dynamics? It's Crystal. I don't know if Crystal Dynamics is actually a fall from grace because Crystal Dynamics went off with those Tomb Raider games.
And I think. Wait, no, that's Eidos Interactive. Never mind. I was thinking of Hitman, but it's like, nah, that's Eidos.
Like Crystal Dynamics has the ability to make things that are really good. I think that the concept and the push from above is what prevented that from
Yeah.
from actually being a
Oh,
success.
yeah, they are working on a new Tomb Raider.
They're working on 2 of them at the same time.
Yeah, they had 2 Tomb Raider games come out.
Yeah, we got one coming out soon.
Avengers
another
was
one
their
coming out.
misstep.
Hmm?
Avengers was their misstep.
Yeah. So yeah, all right. So I was wrong. It's not Ubisoft, but it's still Ubisoft's fault because it literally felt like an Ubisoft game. You buy the game, and then 3 months later, it's on super sale, and then after it's on super sale, it just feels like an Ubisoft game. Let me be real. Like, so whatever. But what was the real problem with Avengers? You know what? We're not even gonna get into the real problem with Avengers because then we're gonna start getting to then we're gonna start dissecting what the real problem is with a lot of these games, and that's not what we're here for today. Today we're here talking about preserving the legacy of not just Sony but of these various studios and some of our favorite games ever.
All 3 of them are screwing up right now.
Absolutely. Like is Sony chasing Fortnite money? Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Does this signal financial strain or this like confusion on the direction that they should be going? Like, is Sony in trouble financially? They just confused. What are they doing?
I don't think they're in trouble financially. They're gonna be in trouble financially to keep trying to chase this stupid live
All right,
service
Pappy.
bag instead of just putting out single player content, which is what their bread and butter is. Like, y'all.
So
make
you think that
single-player
Sony's
games.
identity and their whole everything is single player content?
Yeah.
Until they
But
prove
how would
they,
move
until they
PlayStation
prove
Plus?
until they prove they can make worthwhile multiplayer games, then yeah.
Like, dog, ain't nobody going to y'all for multiplayer, and that's fine. You have to be comfortable with not being the multiplayer company. No, here's the thing. Outside of like Microsoft, and Microsoft's like 3 IPs, Halo, Gears, Forza for multiplayer. None of the 3 hardware manufacturers are really. Oh no, I'll take that back. Nintendo. Nintendo does have Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers.
They just had the new Mario Tennis.
everything
Mario
Sports.
Tennis just
Tennis,
came out
yeah.
like last week.
Yeah,
Or
Mario
reenactment.
Everything Sports, Mario versus Sonic in the Olympic Games.
But even then, Nintendo's
Rayman
multiplayer games
would
are
also
not
be the
live service, though. They're
Correct.
not live
the
service.
differences between multiplayer and live service are huge.
Exactly.
And that's my problem. That's my thing. Sony can make multiplayer games. That's not the problem. They've done it.
They
Killzone.
want live service.
Live
want
service
constant-
to me is the issue.
Third party will always be the thing that does the live service.
Correct.
They just have
Because
to
that's how they're going to get their money.
They have to-
Sony can get their money by making first party stuff that's exclusive to them.
And Destiny was their live service. So if you want that, just make that your fucking thing and just focus on Destiny.
You know
have
why
the
they
thing
can't do that?
there.
You know why they can't do that?
Why?
Because that would require them to trust Bungie to meet a deadline.
Yeah, that's true.
Simple. That would require for Bungie to be on point. And no matter how you cut it, this way, that way, or the third, Bungie just is Bungie. They have been through how many different owners? How many different companies have they been a studio underneath? Like at some
Activision,
point, you have to
Microsoft.
realize that it's not the corporation's problem, it's Bungie. When are they going to take self-accountability?
Probably never, while whoever is still managing it.
Right. Right.
Listen. Problem starts at the top every single time. I don't care what anyone says. It always starts at the top. If a restaurant sucks, it's not the cook's fault. It's the manager's fault. The manager hired the cook.
I got a spicy question. Would you trade 3 failed live service games for 1 Bloodborne remake?
Yes.
That's like
Why is that even?
No question. All right,
Not
cool.
even a hot topic. Like why?
All right. So if Blue Point still existed and they were to do the Bloodborne remake, do you think it would end up actually being fire?
yes.
Wow.
You know,
Because
sell millions
We are
copies.
not in. I am
you're-
about as
you're-
spicy as salt on chicken breast right now. Okay, cool. So do you think Sony is losing its soul on their PlayStation branding?
Yes.
Okay. We are literally in salt and pepper territory right now.
Sony's in the
problem-
hot seat with me right
Yeah.
now.
The problem with Sony, like, it's not even like I just don't even know how to describe what Sony's doing. It's literally like the people they appointed are trying to actively like destroy the PlayStation brand. Because like at this point, the whole point of getting a PlayStation 3 or PS4 or PS5 was the exclusive, and we haven't had. When was our last actual PlayStation exclusive?
Like, not being on
Yote, prior to Yote was last year. Prior to Yote, it's been a minute.
Was it Tsushima or was there something after?
Well, Tsushima was 2020.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I can't say Helldivers anymore.
No.
Like that dual launched on PC,
Xbox.
and it's now on
Xbox
Xbox.
now.
And yeah, it dual launched on Steam, and now it's on Xbox. So it's like,
But again, like, do you really want to be, as a gamer, do you really want to be relegated to having to get a console because the game you want to play is on nothing else? Like, that's how the console war started. And they're effectively at a point where they're almost ending console wars now.
I mean, it ended once Microsoft threw in the towel. It's just like we're not trying to compete. We're just trying to produce games.
Well, I don't know
mean,
if that
think should
ended
be the
it
general.
or if that just kind of, I don't know if that ended it because
But they-
Nintendo's still being Nintendo. Nintendo's still a major player.
Well, here's the thing, though. Microsoft kind of doesn't have a choice. They don't have the choice. They have to be third party because they spent mad money on all these studios. You can't make that back by relegating your shit to just one fucking platform. Like if Microsoft had to depend on the Xbox brand itself, it would die at this point.
Okay.
but
That's a good point. You know what?
Although, funnily enough, we don't know what's gonna happen with Microsoft with all the changes. But if
Well-
Microsoft picked up Blue Point
Yeah.
to remake older Xbox games,
All right. So before we get into this, because like this is a conversation, and you know what, we can use this as a topic switch. So before we get into that, right, and what could potentially save Microsoft and what they have going on, let's talk about what's going on with Microsoft in reality. So the reality is that Xbox operates under Microsoft leadership. figures like Phil Spencer have been shaping its direction for a few years now. The recent leadership shifts have actually sparked a bunch of discussions. And when we say recent leadership shifts, the president of Xbox, I believe, Aisha, I think her name was Aisha. What was her name?
Asha Shwar.
Was it Asha or Aisha?
Asha
She's the new
Asha Sharma is now the new executive VP and CEO for Microsoft Gaming.
Yeah,
That's the new executive VP. Who was
Yes.
the one that was who was the one that was in
Sarah
charge?
Bond.
Ah, there we go.
Sarah Bond.
So with Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer's retiring.
I'm about to say, yeah, retiring. Quote unquote. We don't have
Sarah Bond has left.
She flat out straight up quit. Like deuces. Now Asha's
So-
the head of Xbox.
Correct. So now we have some of the major players for a lot of the shifts that have happened throughout the course of the past like 5 years with Xbox, because I don't know if Xbox was going in a good direction or a bad direction, but I do know that Xbox had made some major changes between the last generation and this generation, and they were on the move to a whole different direction. I was looking at them differently now. I'm not going to say that I was looking at them like a gaming company or an entertainment company, but I was looking at them differently because they were trying to be a lot more inclusive. They were trying to make sure that more and more people had access to their games. While more and more people got access to their games, they were also trying to make sure that even though they made all of these moves and acquired all of these studios, that they were still pushing out content that was considered first-party Xbox content. They were still pushing out Forzas. They were still pushing out Halos. And it may or may not have been good and or successful, but they were still making them. They were still dedicating themselves to them. And, I do think that they kind of bit off a little bit more than they could chew. And so in all of their acquisitions, but they still made the attempt to utilize these companies that they picked up. So with that leadership being gone, now almost all of Xbox's leadership being completely different, like we could be looking at a whole new company, a whole new direction from Xbox. So that's just the backstory into what we're talking about when we say all of the changes. Like we don't know if this change in leadership is about to, change what the hardware ecosystem is going to be, like if they're going to continue to make more Xboxes, because I was under the impression that Xbox is probably not going to make another console. Then they came around and confirmed that they were going to make another console. But to me, it would make more sense to utilize all the studios that you required to make more games.
Yeah.
And this way you could get residuals off of all of these games that you're making and making them available on all of these other platforms. You can make your own console, sure. That gives people more accessibility. But seeing as how Microsoft is hard tied with PCs and Windows, it would make a ton of sense to make Windows your platform instead of Xbox your platform. And then, like as you're making all of these games, you're also getting money from Sony and Nintendo for using your first party stuff. Then there's also the fact that Game Pass is still a thing. So Game Pass has to be sustainable. I don't know what the business model for Game Pass is. It's probably highly successful, but Game Pass being sustainable is going to be a question, because as we've seen, the prices for Game Pass has gone up a few times, even in the past 2 years. Like we've seen crazy increases to Game Pass. Again, multi-platform releases with those exclusive titles like Gears, Halo, Forza. Like, what does that mean for Xbox? Like, is Xbox going to be publisher first? Are they going to be console first? What are they doing? There are a lot of questions that have been raised, and that's why I had to go into this explanation. Now, we were saying that Xbox could be positioning themselves to be the new Sony. Sony was known for the single player games, but people are upset that Xbox is now making stuff available in more places. I mean, would you be mad? You spent blah 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 money on an Xbox because you wanted to play this particular game, right? All your friends are on a PlayStation, but you wanted this game bad. So you was like, you know what? I'm gonna give me an Xbox because most of the rest of the stuff I could play with my friends on.
Yeah, I feel like people are disingenuous to that. It's like people at this point, I think people are just sticking with where they've had their account the longest
Yeah.
and have the most purchases on.
Probably.
Which is like, and that's probably where most of your friends are. So yeah, it makes sense makes sense to be like, I would just make it upset if all your friends left the ecosystem to go somewhere else. I get that. But just because someone else can play something else, so it doesn't take away from the fact that you can play it. It's like, it's not stopping you from playing it. It's I have no idea what Asha Sharma's track record is. And also I don't know, like, it would be nice to know, like, be a fly on the wall, be like in the meetings, like, all right, we need to revamp Xbox. Here's what we're doing. And because we got Fable on the horizon, Forza Horizon, and like that's it. So what else are we putting out there?
What if Xbox decided to go the way AI?
Hold on, I guess I'm gonna have to be. I guess the bad guy. Maybe not the bad guy. I'm gonna have to be the harsh person. I want to say when it comes to people who are upset at the current state of Xbox exclusivity and all that stuff, right? Everything has been a response to y'all. So, timeline, we're gonna go here, right? It was Don Matrick that was before Phil Spencer, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe.
Don Matrick screwed up the Xbox brand with the launch of the Xbox One.
Yeah, he was the one that's like, if people want to play, yeah, he's the one on record verbatim saying, if people want to play used games, we have a console for that. It's a 360. And this is like,
yeah.
Oof.
That was one of the most worst console launches in history. So much so, it made the PS4 one of the most successful console launches in history. Just people saw that and was just like, nah, I'm gonna get a PS4. That conversion rate of Xbox owner to PS4 was crazy at that time. There were people who I knew who were long-standing Xbox fans who were just like, I'm done. I'm out. I don't care for Xbox no more. I'm just gonna get me PS4. So another complaint was we don't have any games. They acquire Bethesda. Once Phil Spencer gets in, he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna bring more games. Acquires Bethesda. Then acquires Activision Blizzard. And for a while, some of y'all who were like diehard Xbox fanboys, not the fans who have Xbox, I'm not talking to y'all, but y'all weird fanboys lapped that shit up and were laughing to the bank on that one. Ha ha ha, look at how many games we have now, and Call of Duty's gonna be exclusive and all that. I have to bring up math units, right? Because how much did they spend on Activision Blizzard as well as Bethesda? I think Bethesda was like 10 billion. It wasn't as big as Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard was like 80. It was like 80 billion, wasn't it? 80, 86 billion. So it was a big number. It was a very.
You asking me for numbers? I don't got it.
It was possibly one of the biggest acquisitions in gaming, I believe.
What,
yes, I believe it was one of the largest acquisitions in history, which is also why it went through so many different court litigations and court proceedings, because effectively, does that make Microsoft a monopoly or an oligarchy?
It does, which is why they had to produce games on other consoles. That's why. That's one of the reasons why. The other reason is because the price that they paid to acquire Activision Blizzard. If you were cool with the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition as an Xbox fanboy, you don't have any right to be mad that there's no more game exclusivity to your console. Where are they going to get that money back from? When you buy something, you expect to make money back. That's what an investment is. You want to make money on your investment. You can't make money by keeping it on one singular platform. I said this on my Twitter. It's madness to think that Microsoft is just going to keep all those games like Call of Duty. Just the Xbox that had the smallest install base, mind you. over the PS5 that had what twice at that point in time had like twice the install base. Now you're missing millions of dollars. But y'all didn't have a problem with them acquiring those studios, so why are you mad now? Make it make sense.
They're mad now because you know what that means? That means these studios get closed. These studios now go to other platforms. These like literally Xbox is the, we making it for everybody. And now they don't have anything that they can say is their own.
Hey, they became a third-party publisher. That's what it is.
A third-party publisher with a console.
Yeah. They're going the way of Sega.
Yeah, because Xboxes are not moving like that anymore. Like, what was a couple months ago, Costco was removing inventory, Xbox inventory. It's because
I don't even want to buy one.
You got to also remember that a lot of that was actually based off of tariffs and Microsoft adjusting their prices. They've gone up.
Oh yeah,
like they keep going up on their prices. They did 2 console price increases in the course of a year. So not only did they do 2 console price increases, they did 2 Game Pass price increases. So essentially, and this is a wild statement, but essentially it feels like Xbox is making their mistakes our problem.
Yeah.
And other companies ain't with that. Because guess who loses money when you have dead stock sitting in your store? I personally would rather make $500 off of this console than to make nothing off of this console than have it sitting in my back room.
Because let's be real, at this point in time, how much of a loss is it if they sell it at a regular price?
How much of a loss is it if they don't sell it at all?
It's a bigger loss not selling it than it is selling it at a loss. Ironically,
it's like they already bought it. Like they already bought the stock that's sitting there. It's like so that money's
at the old price.
And that stock's not gaining or losing value sitting there. It's like, so just sell it for what you sell it for, clear up the inventory space in your warehouses, and then just move on. Like,
at the end of the day, you get a bigger install base, which means that you're gonna have more people on Xbox Live, which you're gonna have probably more people on Game Pass. So you miss out on that.
Even selling them at a discount. If they were like, if Costco was like, we're doing a mass clearance, all Xbox Series X, not S, the X was like $350. Like, we just want this shit out of there. Come buy it.
That's a win for Costco, but that's not a win for Microsoft. Now, here's the thing, right?
But they don't get any more. But they don't get any more money.
The struggle, homeboy. Like, you could raise the console prices, or you could raise Game Pass prices, but you can't raise both.
Yeah, it's true.
You gotta choose a struggle, homeboy. Like, legitimately, like, if you're gonna scale something up, you can't scale everything up at the same time because, we need money. Because guess what? We, the consumers, need money too. We need to actually have the money to be able to spend into you. And honestly, if Game Pass was cheaper, but the console prices went up, I would still consider paying for Game Pass and buying the console because Game Pass is the most affordable way to continue to play my entire library of games, even if the console costs a little more. Or if the console was cheaper, but Game Pass was a little bit more expensive, because this console is the cheapest console in the market and it's the easiest for me to get into, but I have to have your Game Pass services. Now I'm probably buying your console and then I'll just pay the higher fee.
Yeah.
Economics. It's simple economics. And I don't know who's failing you over there in that company. This is literally marketing 101. You have to think about how your community and how the populace thinks, especially when prices are going up for everything. Tariffs are going into effect for everything. You're now raising your own prices. You can't raise your prices across the board. You have to choose. Pick a struggle, homeboy. Xbox, if you hear me, you have a chance to fix this, but pick a struggle.
I'm gonna be real. Given the resume of the current head of Xbox, it ain't looking too bright for the Xbox. I'm gonna be
It's probably not looking too good.
I have zero confidence because she knows nothing about games at all. Like Sarah Bond worked in the gaming industry for a while. Matter of fact, she was basically the heir apparent to become the head of Xbox.
Well, here's the thing: under Sarah Bond, under Phil Spencer, they acquired. Well, I don't know if they did that under Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, but
That's
they
under Phil
acquired
though.
major
Sarah
publishers
didn't have
and
anything to do with
studios.
those.
Yeah. But they've also aggressively expanded Game Pass.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. They released some titles on rival platforms, also a good thing. It feels terrible for people who want exclusive, but you know what? I have a finger that you can look at, and that's how I feel about it. Matter of fact, you see these? Pick one. And they're not nice. So I'm not gonna turn my hand. I'm not gonna do it on live, but like, oh look, now the show is complete. We have actually had a cat cameo. Cat cameo cam. Anyway, so they released titles on rival platforms. They focused heavily on cloud, PC, and ecosystem play. Those are all good things. Because focusing on cloud and PC ecosystems means that we now have cross-play, cross-platform play, seamless, like we have more accessibility from people in other places. You make your game available in other places, and then you add in your cross plays, you make sure that your cross play stays relevant and your game stays relevant, including your live service games. And when your games stay relevant, guess what? Your stuff sells. You're still gonna get people paying for things like Game Pass because you want to sell your Game Pass more than you want to sell anything else, right?
Yeah.
So leadership changes like the ones that have just happened recently oftentimes signal strategic recalibration or internal performance pressure, metrics, things of that nature, KPIs, something not being met. But it also could mean that there's a shift in the long-term vision, which could be to the company's detriment. We don't know what's going to happen. Like right now, Xbox, in my opinion, Xbox could be potentially walking into a situation where they have no future. All it takes are a few wrong decisions, and there's no future there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, what we had before was amazing, and I'm not saying it was terrible either. I'm not saying anything as far as to what we had versus what we have. I don't know about what we have because we just got it. That's me. So, my normal attitude is if Xbox games are everywhere, why do we want to buy an Xbox?
Nope.
So, if exclusives go multi-platform, we don't have any incentives. Okay.
I mean, my PC
So is PlayStation still winning the hardware war? While Xbox is still winning infrastructure? Is that how it's been for years?
It kind of.
Yeah. Sony sells more units, but Xbox has better net infrastructure.
Switch 2 is already at like almost half the lifetime sales of the Series X, and it came out last July.
That's crazy. So are we entering a post-exclusive era? Like an era where we're no longer doing console exclusives?
Well, like aside from Nintendo, because they go stick on their island by themselves. Honestly, I think honestly, that's kind of where it should have been going sooner. Like, I hate how long games are getting taken to get ported, but I get why. It's like, oh, we want your console investment to be worth it, so we're not gonna dual launch every exclusive on Steam and PC on PS5 at the same time. But I feel like those windows are getting shorter and shorter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we finally got a Monster Hunter simultaneous release.
That was wild. I mean, literally.
Because God of War. I think Ragnarok was it 2 years?
Yeah,
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like if this is how it's coming, like it almost feels like you're making us you're blaming us, like the customer, for your company's shortcomings, like especially if we're the ones that have to suffer and struggle off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, is console loyalty dead?
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. Like,
It's-
why are you loyal to plastic? Why? In the year of our Lord 2026, why are you loyal to plastic though? Like, if you were to expire tomorrow, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are not gonna come to your funeral.
Bro, I'm gonna be
They
honest with
not-
you. I'm gonna be
You
honest
what?
with you. I know homies that are more loyal to their console than they are to their girl.
Yo, that's wild. That's a wild ass statement, but I know
But it's
probably
not.
true.
But it's not wrong though. That's the sad part.
My Xbox ain't gonna cheat on me. My Xbox ain't ever gonna leave me.
The Xbox also ain't gonna give you that good, but alright.
I don't know.
I guess.
Xbox got Xbox got Windows access now. Xbox can find you a little bit good.
That ain't the same. You know it ain't the same.
The Steam machine gonna have them VR nudie games that be on.
Man, Steam Machine ain't coming. Man, Steam Machine ain't coming out.
It better not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the Steam machine feels like a mistake right now.
But it is true though.
Just
Steam is
only for
fast to
timing.
get.
Like, I think that the console concept is great, but I feel like the timing it's a mistake.
Yeah, not right now.
Yeah.
Not while we're in the current
Not in
AI
this
apocalypse.
economy.
Yeah.
Because
like I showed y'all the other day, the price difference of some RAM I bought last March versus cost now. So I know why. So I see why they said like, oh, we got to reanalyze the current hardware
Correct.
market.
I would
for
literally
context-
hold off until the hardware market changes, and once it's improved, then you start talking about your release again. Because like as soon as they started talking about their release, you know, we went into RAM crisis, silicon crisis, storage crisis. Like we ran into every crisis possible.
But the problem is that the hardware crisis.
She said, "Oh hell yeah, I'm loyal to my PC. Bury me with my PC."
I mean,
yeah. But here's the thing: the hardware
I
crisis.
guess you can take it with you, huh?
Yeah. The hardware crisis doesn't get fixed until the AI crisis ends.
Would you call it an AI crisis? I think it's more of an AI boom, and I think that the boom
it's a
will
crisis
end with-
depending where you. It's a device crisis depending where you live.
You're right.
Like-
I think it's a crisis depending upon which aspect you're looking at it too.
Yeah, like if you're in an
There's
area
an
that's
AI boom, and thus that's creating a crisis that could be considered an environmental crisis or whatever. But even without the AI, the crisis part of it, if the AI boom calms down, like right now, it's the new hot shit. That's simply what it is. It's the new hotness.
But it's also the new hot shit that's not profitable. Like ChatGPT.
Somebody sees potential somewhere, somehow.
But that's just all it is seeing potential, but not looking at reality.
I mean, if you never look at potential, if you never actually try to enact upon potential, you'll never actually be successful. So,
But you gotta be
right
realistic.
now, yeah, but like again, it's about finding like that's how any progress is made. You got to pioneer the path. So I'm not upset with them for trying to figure out the potential of AI. Are
Yeah.
we afraid of the potential of AI? Oh, yes. What can AI do? AI could end literally because it is digitized and because it is all digital. It lives in cyberspace. It could literally shut down the entire world if it wanted to, given the opportunities or given the possibilities and things that we've seen in movies. Movies can absolutely come true.
Listen, I've seen some shit that just made me go, yeah, I think we need to tighten up regulations.
We could literally end up in Terminator world.
I've seen somebody do a prank where they took a picture of somebody and then through AI animated it to make it look like they were cheating on their partner in the store with someone else. It's like, yeah, I think we're going wrong.
There was a
way.
case I saw the other day where the judge had to throw out the case because the cops used an AI generated video that looked super realistic. But then when they sent it out to analysts, they were like, "This is AI. This doesn't corroborate the claims against the dude."
Like,
So then they had to then throw out the case, and I'm like, it's like we've already lost the plot on AI if it's literally already being affected to potentially put people in prison.
It's
Yeah.
literally the point where people can't tell the difference between real and AI at this point. Like, so that's why I say, but I will say that is human. That is human influence. That is not.
that is
AI.
true. Yeah, it's humans
That
doing
speaks
evil,
more to human
horrible
nature
shit with it.
than it does to AI in general.
I mean, yes, it does say because AI is just a thing. It's just a tool.
It can't use itself yet. It can't even count to 100 yet.
And what you choose to do with it is a reflection of you, not it itself, which I understand. I think there also has to be the responsibility of the people who own those engines to be like, hey, no, can't do that.
Have you ever asked one of these AIs to count to 100 yet?
No, I haven't.
I've seen a couple of videos. It's honestly
Painful.
comedy. It's comedic sometimes.
Painful.
That's like the most basic bare bone shit you can do, bro. Like so you can
You would think.
So you can make a whole ass video that looks realistic out of nowhere, but you can't count to 100. All right, that's priorities.
It'll count to up to about 20, and then it'll say so on and so forth until we get to 100.
I didn't see one actually count to 100, like count to 100 when they said just keep counting as high as you can, and then they got to 100. It's like, oh, you want me to keep going? It's like I told you the original prompt to keep going. Damn, you stupid.
I need you to try that out, test it out.
Yeah.
All I know is the current head of Xbox used to be, I think, what, COO for Copilot.
I believe so.
That's gonna be interesting.
So before we go, because I promised Money that we would talk about this. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. So Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green both came out on Game Boy Advance. And they were remakes of the original Red and Blue. They actually modernized Gen 1. So, that basically brought Generation 1 into a colored, backlit, modernized era because it was on Game Boy Advance finally. They added the Sevi Islands, and they're not officially available on modern Nintendo storefronts. So that means that at this point, in order for you to be able to play Fire Red and Blue, you actually would have had to purchase them used from a game store. Then you would have probably had to get a Game Boy Advance, right? Or you could have just emulated it. Here's the problem. When you emulate games, what happens? You are pirating. That is literally considered pirating. You're emulating. It is illegal. You could fall into, financial repercussions and ramifications, especially when dealing with Nintendo. And when it comes to having to go to court, especially if you're distributing, like if you decide that you wanted to download an emulator and you're seeding it and touring it, they can actually blame you for being the source person, and thus they could take you to court for distribution of an emulated or a pirated product. So it's a little weird. Either way, for context, you're bugging, Lou. Bulbasaur being the best starter is wild. Anyway, Nintendo is famously aggressive about protecting its IP, especially Pokemon. Because remember that Pokemon is actually one of, if not one of, then the most money-generating franchise in the world.
It's the most valuable franchise in the world.
Correct. Yeah. Like money generating, valuable, same, that's exactly what I mean. But yes, it's the largest and most valuable franchise in the world at this point. Just based off of all of the different properties that are out there. Emulation software itself is often legal, but downloading ROMs you don't own is considered illegal. Dumping your own ROM from a cartridge exists in a legal gray zone, and it depends on what region it is for you to be like legal or not legal. And of course, we all know that buying used copies of any game anywhere does not financially benefit the company that originally made the game. They only get a cut off of new games. That was how GameStop became what they became. They became the one place where you trade in all your stuff, and you go to GameStop, you buy a new game, you pay $60. You go to GameStop when you finish playing that game, you get paid $25, and then they go put it back on the shelf for $55. So they're making $60 off of you initially, which part of that goes to the company, part of that goes to the distributor, part of that goes to the publisher, blah, blah, blah. Right? When you go and trade your game back, they're giving you store credit. So they're losing zero money now. They're giving you store credit. Right? If anything, they're losing $25 at most. Then after you get your store credit, they're going to take that same game, they're going to put it back on the shelf for $55. So now not only are they getting the $25 back that they actually gave to you, they're getting an additional $30 on top of that. Best starter Pokemon in Gen 1, Charmander, hands down, kill it with fire. I kill every game with fire. Kill it with fire. Anyway, so with that being said, no, not buying a new game is always beneficial for the one selling the used game, but buying new games are the ones that are financially benefiting the company that's making these games. So with that being said, I believe that Fire Red and Leaf Green are being ported to the Switch. Is that correct, Rajan?
So what's happening is Pokemon Day is this coming Friday, and they're going to release digitally on the Switch store. Both games separately. It's going to have all the special event content where you actually have to go to like Pokemon events, hook up your link cable, get a special Pokemon, everything like that. It's going to have all those, and both games are going to be $20 each. So you can buy both for $40. But no online thing. But it's going to have local playing support. So like through like have your Switch 2 next to each other, you can battle and trade. But like kind of like old school link cable way if you wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, like
and mind you, this is also Pokemon's 30-year anniversary.
Yes. Yeah. 30 years.
So there's a lot going on this year in general in the gaming community, in the TCG community, and every aspect of Pokemon. 30 years of Pokemon.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Pokemon Go events. There's a Pokemon live stream on Friday for Pokemon Day. Following that is when the games will be released. I think the only thing I didn't like about how they announced the release is we have Game Boy Advance emulation on Nintendo Switch already.
They weren't gonna do that.
Yeah,
because they can make a fuck ton of money.
But I'm not a fool. I know they ain't never gonna put any mainline Pokemon games on any of those Switch Online things. They could have to get some good grace, but I knew they weren't going to.
Squirtle could be up all it wants to. Y'all can be united and wrong. Like
big Squirtle gang right now.
Squirtle. I should have worn my shirt.
Who wants to walk around like? All right, cool.
Yeah, because he turns into Blastoise, a turtle with goddamn cannons on his back.
Cool. He needs help. Where's the water coming from, sir?
Where's the fire from Charmander come from?
In a gland. Ooh. It's produced in a gland that's in his throat.
Oh, cool.
Oh, why can't
we can say the same thing for Squirtle?
Oh, so he has a giant gland under that shell that's shooting shit out of the cannons.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. I don't see it.
I know we're not gonna try and get Pokemon logic. You know how hot Torkoal is, but somehow Pokemon people can just pick him up barehanded.
Absolutely, wow.
That makes no sense.
I never said anything about making sense. I'm just saying.
We have galactic level fucking Pokemon, and you're questioning how water comes out of Blastoise's back.
How does any water Pokemon do water gun?
Spit. Oh.
Got you.
Okay, all right.
That's not.
Then what's the
That's not
fire
spit.
then?
Usually got to pay like a premium prices in certain areas to get that much
Is the
spit.
fire not hot spit? If we want to go by that logic.
Hey yo, fire throat is wild.
Hey,
I think
The
Wow.
chat is going crazy right now with fire
Wow.
throat. And then Loon said, "Is it really water? Is Squirtle not producing a gel?"
Leona, where does the water from Squirtle come from?
She ain't even gonna answer.
She's like, I'm privy to that information, but I cannot share it.
That's crazy. So see, we could have debates about stuff like this all day long, but you know what? It's fine. You know, y'all can like squirrels and Bulbasaurs, and you know, y'all can like the Vine Whips. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I like Bulbasaur, but then I feel like Bulbasaur grows up to be that acne-looking teenager that just never got clear skin. Because that's what Venusaur reminds me of. That's me. Squirtle is a lot more forgivable because Wartortle is fire. Like, I actually think that the second evolutions of all versions are way better than the final evolutions.
Wrong.
I like Wartortle a ton better than I like Blastoise.
Nah.
I don't like Charmeleon more than Charizard or
Charmeleon.
Honestly,
Not cool in Charizard. No.
Charizard was cool, but Charizard, like, if you go by like anime style, Charizard didn't listen.
Okay.
That again, like, Charizard was cool because I like dragons. Like, that's the main reason why I like Charizard, because he was a winged dragon essentially, and I like dragons, and that's one of the main reasons why it's always fire for me. It was always Charmander over Squirtle and Bulbasaur. But
I mean,
I mean, they're all lizards in a way.
I
Absolutely.
was. Oh yeah, that is kind of odd that they were all lizards, right?
Except for Squirtle. Like, I mean,
Squirtle's still a
reptile, so-
turtle. That's still an amphibian. It's still of the you know, amphibious
Reptilian
family.
family.
Yeah, reptilian reptiles. So yeah,
'Cause they all
like
tend
first
to
generation was
lay
like
eggs.
that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, first generation is probably, like, even though I'm saying Charizard might be the best, like, that's my personal opinion. Like, I'm not gonna hate on anybody who likes Gen 1 over it, because there were some worse generations. Like, you could have worse choices.
Like the ones now, bro.
Blaziken's still my favorite final evolution. So out of past generations, all generations.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I love Gen 3. So, like, I thought all the starters were cool and shit.
And I love fucking what's his face?
Like, I have to
Grunge.
say my favorite grass evolution is probably Rillaboom.
Yeah, I saw him and I was just like, all right, this is gonna be the first time I do a grass type for a Pokemon game. So was not disappointed with that.
Followed by Decidueye, because to me Decidueye is like a leaf ninja.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it's an owl, like,
Grass owl.
yeah, like, you don't
Wait,
know what
what?
Decidueye? Black and white.
It's from it's not Sun and Moon.
It was it Sun and Moon or Black and White? You sure
Black
it was Sun and Moon?
I'm positive Sun and White because Sun and Moon because Black
Sun and
and
White?
White was Sun and White. No, Black and White was yeah, I forget.
I forgot what black and white. I have black and white still somewhere.
Oh, that was Snivy that turned into Servine and the Superior. That was
Yeah, Serpent.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Sun and Moon.
Wait, was Decidueye a starter? No,
that was a grass final evolution of the grass starter in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I never played Sun and Moon.
Little Bird.
Yeah, I didn't play Sun and Moon.
Even though, you know, Litten was fire too.
That was after I decided to give up Pokemon.
He's just like, I'm done with Pokemon. Fuck that franchise.
Yeah, but so anyway, the argument is that, you know, all right, now we're getting ports of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, but that means that you had to wait essentially 20 years to play it again.
Yep.
And we talked about the gap in the content. We talked about the gap where, like, just because we don't have something, does that make it okay for us to go and get it how we got to get it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because something isn't sold doesn't make it free, right? So if we own Fire Red and Leaf Green on Game Boy Advance, we have a copy of it. Does that make it? It doesn't make it okay for us to go and get a ROM so that we can play it on our most current platform, does it? Like, Nintendo's not making it available, so it should only be distributed by official means. At least that's the goal. This is where we start going into anti-piracy.
Well, to quote Mighty Keith, not legally, but yes.
Yeah, like if we're talking like piracy and things of that nature, we're talking ROMs and stuff like that. Like, wouldn't piracy kind of undermine asking for remakes? Like, what do we need a remake for when we're getting the original for free? And the company's not making any money off of either one of these things. Well, I mean, they could be making money off of a remake, but that's licensure.
Yeah, that's licensing.
So, I mean, again,
I think it wouldn't have been a problem had they released it on, the virtual system that they already have, that you already have access to. If you have Nintendo's Premium Online, that would have sweetened the deal. That would have honestly probably would have sold more Switches. Probably would have got more people to pay for the online too. I'm like, wait, hold on. So I get Pokemon games, all my old classic Pokemon games on virtual.
Yeah, but the problem is, all right. So remember what we were talking about earlier, losing access to the exclusivity of something after you ain't used it in 20 years or a certain amount of time, right? So if Nintendo ain't released Fire Red or Leaf Green and it had been 20 years, should that give somebody else the right to publish it? Does that mean that somebody should be like, does that mean like old games like Splinter Cell should be redistributed digitally just because some other company decided that they want to release it? I know this is less along the lines of piracy and more along the lines of now another company is trying to make money off of redistributing something that belonged to another company. So it's not necessarily totally comparable, but at the same time, is that not what we do when we go ahead and we just find a downloaded version?
I think it's harder to say for like single player games, but I have a take on this. I feel like online games, after a period of time, people should have access to that and do whatever they want. If they want to make their own servers or whatever, they should be able to do that, in my opinion. Because Anthem's servers finally shut down, but there are people who are trying to basically revive Anthem through their own servers and stuff like that, right? I think legally you should be allowed to do that because y'all not going to turn servers back on. It's like how now City of Heroes is officially legally supported by NCSoft. So the people who are making their own servers from it are now legally supported. Like if they're officially supported by NCSoft. I think more companies should do that. Like, hey, listen, I know y'all don't want to pay for the servers, but I want to pay for my own server and do all that, have the infrastructure running. I'll do all that. I don't mind. Just I want to legally be able to do that. I won't charge people to use it like a monthly fee or whatever, but like allow me to like run my own shit. You know what I mean? Why should the game just have to die? Like Earth and Beyond.
With some of these comments real quick. Shmoney said, well, that's the one thing I hate about Nintendo is they wait until like the anniversary to put all the old stuff on the Switch. Like they could have released them games on day one on the Switch. The Switch only had Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee on day one. And if they would have put it on virtual, then people would farm Pokemon because they had old save data. Goji said one of the simplest solutions is backward compatibility. Majority of Nintendo things are digital. Why shouldn't I be able to take my digital copy of Pokemon from my DS to my Switch too? Money. That's why. Now, with that being said, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, and the Switch all have different connectors and different ways to, load their content. So the cartridge shapes, sizes, storage values, etc., are different. I'm not saying that you can't do it because eventually, when they hit 3DS, then they were able to put Nintendo Store onto the 3DS. But some of the original DS games were not actually digital. So it wasn't until I believe the 3DS where we started getting digital versions of older games, and that's when we started having like a digital Nintendo Store.
Yeah.
Also, why would I, as a company, not offer and make you pay for it again just because you decided to switch consoles? How's that my problem?
That's the problem you don't have to run into on PC.
If you wanted to play my game and I sold you a console, I sold you a game with it as a cartridge or whatever, like I sold it to you, you don't have the rights to duplicate it or replicate it or modify it in any way, shape, or form. But I sold you a game and I made my money off of it. You got your time out of it. Now I'm releasing it digitally. You're gonna pay for it again. Just because you got a copy of the game don't mean that you just entitled to have it on every console and every digital platform ever when that's my money making machine.
Hold on.
You bought the game. That means you bought the rights to be able to play this game on what I gave it to you on.
Here's the thing, though, right? PC.
No. We did pay for upgrades from PS3 to PS4, from PS4 to PS5. We paid like $10 for certain upgrades, but that was only during release window. But let me tell you something like this, because yes, paying isn't the issue, access is. You know what company actually started pushing the line a little bit? Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar, they made you buy Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS3. Then they made you pay full price for it again on PS4. No, there wasn't no upgrade. Buy it again, bitch. Then they made you buy it again on PS5.
I did
buy that. They get my shark cards too. Oh, you want to PC? Buy it there too.
Times. I'm not gonna lie to you. I bought that game at least like 3 times.
Game has been gone for 15 years now. 15 years. So yeah, paying kind of is the issue sometimes. Because if they were doing that with all of the Pokemon games, guess how many times you would buy it over?
But I'm gonna go against your argument though. Because if you want to be real, PC is the only official real backwards compatible platform. On Steam right now, I have Vanquish.
That's the one always
backwards compatible. I have original Dead Space. I have so many games that are from like, let's say down like the PS3 era. I can still play those right now.
Yes,
on my PC.
It's the one platform that's always backwards compatible.
Y'all who only own consoles, you can't play the same games I can from the PS3 and 360 era. I can. And I didn't have to buy them again.
Yes, they were on the original 3DS digital store. That was them porting it over. So now that means that they were accessible again. So now they have to do the work to make those ports accessible on the Switch again. Sure, but you're gonna buy them again. You're not just gonna take your digital license from the 3DS store and just swap them on over. No, you're gonna buy them again. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes paying is the issue. Sometimes people don't want to have to keep paying for the same thing over and over again. If I played Pokemon Red today, right? And then I played Pokemon Red on the 3DS digital store, and I played the original Pokemon Red cartridge that I got. Now I've paid for this game 3 times over. Paying comes into play when people refuse to vote with your wallet. people choose to pay full price for GTA 5 instead of saying, when am I paying? Why am I paying full price for a PS3 game?
But is it still better to at least have the option of choice to do that for yourself versus just not being given the option to buy it again?
And that's where he's saying his argument is access.
I'd rather have the option.
Who are we to dictate access?
I feel you on that.
Like, sure, I would love access. And again, I'm actually not arguing for either side. I'm arguing for both sides. But who are we to dictate access? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you own a car and I live in a house with you, I'm dictating when you should allow me to access your car. I gotta ask. That's yours. Or you have to set guidelines. When you get a new car, but I had access to your old car whenever I wanted to, does that mean I automatically get access to your new car?
No, because it's a different product.
That's what I'm saying. I have to take these analogies and I have to take these situations and scenarios and put them in relation to real life things, because, like, sure, as a consumer, you know, we think about some of these things and we experience some of these things, but, like, you know, sometimes consumerism can come along with entitlement. But at the same time, when you look at how things are, like, essentially, for example, Nintendo owns the Pokemon rights, right? So them selling us Pokemon games, whether digitally or physically, is allowing us access. And sure, we don't always have access. We don't always have the ability to play the game unless you kept the original form in which you had access to that game and you kept it in good condition. But time can, you know, do its thing with all of the different versions of it. So now we need that access again. I might be like, if I got a new car, you know what I'm saying? I might be slow to give you access, but I might give it to you eventually. But now, if you dictate that you deserve access because you had access before, that doesn't necessarily equate. To me, again, I'm not saying that I'm on the side of, you know, I'm not saying I'm on the side of either, because if I tell you guys what I've actually done in my life, then, you know, y'all gonna be like, you can't even have this conversation. I told you, I got Breath of the Wild on my Switch. I bought it on the Switch. I think I got a physical cartridge, but I preferred to play it on the Steam Deck because it was in 60 frames per second. And it was smoother. And
Nintendo show up at your door, I don't want to hear nothing.
I'm just saying, like, all right, let's see what
Nintendo Ninja show up at your door.
I mean, officially for this, my first time paying for Fire Red, $20 is I'm cool with. Option is better, but at the same time, there needs to be a healthy medium. I'm not paying $50 for Pokemon Fire Red. Why would I pay $10? Would I pay $10 in 2026? Yes, I would. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So for Pokemon Fire Red in 2026, you're gonna get it for $20. They're literally officially putting it up there in the Switch store for $20. If I needed to, I would pay $20 for GTA 5 in 2026 at the most. But they charge full price because people don't speak with their money enough, and they fold and pay full price. And he said, I'm not saying release older games for free, but at least allow us the access to get the games for a fair minimum. 20 to 30-year-old games shouldn't be the same price as games coming out in 2026. I fully agree there.
Yes,
I fully agree there. Now, again, remember, most of the time, I'm not arguing my own thoughts and feelings. I'm just arguing devil's advocate. We're here for conversation. We need to see both sides. I'm going to say some wrong stuff. I'm going to say some stuff that's absolutely wrong. And I'm going to say it on purpose. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because we're here to generate conversation, because a lot of people don't really think along these lines. They just kind of accept what's presented to us. But if again, releasing Pokemon Fire Red that came out 15, 20 years ago in 2026 for $20 seems reasonable. But if they were actually releasing these games for $40 each, then we'd have a problem.
I want to, you know what? I want to see what new games are out for $20.
What new game? What?
What new games are out for $20?
There have been a few new games out for $20 that are actually
there are
like,
a lot.
yeah, like that are actually bangers at that. Like not just new games, but they're literally banger. Like the $20 game market is fire right now.
You can buy Persona Royale, Persona 5. It didn't.
I mean, those are discounted now, though.
But you know what I'm saying.
But like I'm even talking about games that have come out, like released at a price point of $20. Like
Dead Zone Rogue was $20.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a new game.
That's what I'm saying. Like we have some bangers at $20.
Let's see.
And it just to me goes to prove that you don't need to charge $70 and $80 every time that you put something out.
I'm gonna keep saying it.
You should look at Expedition 33, which was at what, 40 or 50? $50, I believe it was. Like in a realm when it came out, games were already charging 70.
Yeah. Fumes, $14.99.
What is it?
Fumes. That game that says like kind of like Twisted Metal. Came out last year. $14.99. Like brand new fucking game. Like,
Rajan, what about Ball X Pit?
Love Ball Pit. I think that was 20 when it came out. I played it on Game Pass, but I think it's $20. Regular price.
Peak was less than $20.
Peak is like what, 6?
Yep.
6 or 8, something like that.
Balatro.
So, yeah, Balatro, like there are a ton of games that come out that are amazing. And so
it's $15, even cheaper.
Yeah, like, but like there are a ton of games that are coming out that like we could argue, you know, why should we be paying for these old games at this price? But at the same time, you're paying for nostalgia, you're paying for, you know, a brand, you're paying for a bunch of things. Like you're paying for the porting fee, you're paying for a lot. I think it's a great thing that they're bringing over Fire Red. Personally, I do think it's a great thing. I think that if they allowed us to access the older Pokemon games, because sure, they remade Diamond, sure, they remade Pearl. Now that they've done Fire Red, Leaf Green, but what if they gave us, you know, the experience of the original? Do we really want that, or are we just asking for something because we think that it was all that? Do we want one more time?
I feel like Pokemon is a special case.
I do too, only for the simple fact that, you know, we've found out that the not the Pokemon company, but Game Freak, you know, has the ability and the potential to do so much more than what they're doing when it comes to visuals in Pokemon. Like that game that they got coming out looks fire.
Yeah, Beast Reincarnation, I can't wait.
Yeah, like that game looks amazing. Like it started making people wonder why Pokemon hasn't gone in anywhere near that direction yet. Like they've moved in that direction, but they just do not have the execution.
And here's the thing that Pokemon makes a bulk of their money from is not even the video games. That's like the smallest thing, damn near.
My only thing with Nintendo is, are they going to wait until the 40th anniversary to release Soul Silver and Omega Ruby? Probably not.
Soul Silver was a great port.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And then you had Omega Ruby and something Sapphire, I believe. So, I mean, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. But I do know that we've complained about this before, Nintendo. We've heard this before, Nintendo. We've talked about this before, Nintendo. You don't want people pirating your games, Nintendo, but guess what you do with your games, Nintendo? You lock them behind walls. You lock them behind bad practices because you want to make every penny, nickel, and dime. if you put your games on other platforms, Nintendo, maybe you make more money on the software side. But
Here's
you're
the thing.
already making plenty of money on the hardware side. So maybe it's not actually worth putting your games on other platforms, which is fine, Nintendo. But at the same time, we don't think that you care about us as players, Nintendo. We've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't think you're for us, Nintendo. You don't care about us, Nintendo. You want to make sure that you take everything you can from us, Nintendo.
But the problem is people keep simping for Nintendo. That's the problem. We can complain about Nintendo all day till we all blue in the face. But they can only get away with what you let. Listen, y'all. A company can only get away with what you let them. If you don't like what they're doing, stop buying it. You don't have to buy Pokemon. You can spend that money on other shit, other games out there that actually value your time and money. Instead, y'all keep buying half-ass goddamn copies of games, bro. Like, y'all keep buying the merch because that's what the bulk of their sales come from anyway.
So
merch, you
Goji,
buy the cards, you buy the games.
Goji, I do have a little bit of a statement there. So you're saying that the main issue with access to Pokemon games is having the Pokemon themselves. Some Pokemon are legit locked to the original game or the original gen. Plus, in Pokemon Home, you get certain marks depending on how you got it. People want those origin marks from the original gen. You can't have it all.
No.
You can't have it all. That's all I can say. You can't have it all. Sure, you can want those origin marks. That'd be great. But if you have a way to get them, then by all means, get them. But for people who never got an opportunity, like Shmoney, he said he never got an opportunity to play Fire Red, Red, Blue, Leaf Green, none of it. He never has had the opportunity to play it ever. That's one of the only Pokemon games that he has never actually played. And so now with them finally releasing it on the Switch, he's grateful that he's going to get the chance to actually experience somewhat of the original Pokemon, like the original Pokemon game. He's going to be able to walk down that path.
I just think he shouldn't have to pay $20 for it, in my opinion, for a port. I don't think he should have to pay $20.
I mean, you know,
I think
but
it should just be included. It should be included with the Nintendo Online.
Not everybody has a Nintendo Online, and that's still $10 a month.
Well, like actually, to get that one, you need to have the expansion pass too for Game Boy Advance. So,
which is even more money.
50 for the year.
Is it 50 for the year or is it 100?
That's not bad.
It's 50. It's 50.
No, the original, the basic Nintendo is 20 a year.
Yeah, now the expansion is 50. That gives you access to 64, GameCube, Game Boy Advance.
Okay, yeah. Which is not bad.
Yeah.
But you know, so yeah, like some people want the original mark, and you gotta do what you gotta do. But like Big Dog, you can't always have it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna get the original gen, if you want something from Fire Red and Leaf Green, and the Game Boy Advance don't have an opportunity or a way to upload stuff into Pokemon Home, you cooked.
Yeah.
You cooked. It is what it is. Now you're going, what are you going to emulate it, port it over? Like that's crazy. Like I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm against emulators. I'm not saying that I'm for them. I'm gonna say that I use them, and you know, like, but the entitlement is wild sometimes from us. The nerve, the audacity.
But we're the ones putting money in the pocket, though.
All right, but they're the ones that are actually creating and providing the service.
They can't create and provide the service if we don't give them money to do that.
They could. That's like saying a comic book creator can't create and provide a comic book without giving money. No, they just can't continue to live. And thus, they're going to stop making the comic book anyway. Because we spend money does not mean that automatically we're entitled for something to run forever.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a luxury
Look at how they're treating these mangakas in Japan right now. Look at JJK. JJK ended because they were death threatening. Like it ended fast and unexpectedly because they were providing this man with death threats because he was taking too long.
What?
Because they spent a little money buying his manga. Maybe you don't get out of here with that.
Yeah, nah, y'all weird.
But they got Mojulo, but they still got Mojulo open going now. So JJK's still going.
I'm just saying that the entitlement of the consumer sometimes is audacious. Sure, we're the consumer, we have the power, but at the same time, we are relegated to having to wait for whatever the creator does.
Yo, that's
Which is
crazy.
the thing that things like that affect the competitive scene because that's when people end up unknowingly using hacked Pokemon because they got wonder traded thinking it was legal. And that is true. The competitive scene is a big thing for Pokemon, like the Pokemon VGC. So that's something that they themselves have to balance. Now, if you got a Pokemon that you thought was legal and it's not legal, like I don't really know how they can balance that, but making all of the Pokemon available, all the Pokemon games available on the Switch, you would literally have to, number one, port them all over, and number two, make sure that the Switch is going to be your final typing of platform. Or at least for a while. But it seems that, they only go back to the same well twice. Ever. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like PlayStation has been PlayStation. Nintendo will go Game Boy, Advanced SP, DS. So Game Boy, then to the Advanced, then to the DS, to the Wii, to the Switch. You know what I'm saying? Like they only ever hit that same well twice.
They can only hit that well if you buy it.
Anywho, we've been on here for quite a while. It has been an amazing conversation. But I think we need to leave you with those thoughts. Say that again.
Can't hear you. You're muted.
I shouldn't be.
Somebody's that. Oh, wait, no, my bad. My bad. My Chrome thing magically muted itself. I was like, I don't know what happened. My bad.
I'm like, I shouldn't be. I was gonna say that we've been on here for quite a while. And we've had amazing conversation today. This is our return. We won't be here next week, but I just want to leave some food for thought. All of this stuff is great. Feel free to leave us some feedback. We're gonna make shorts out of this. You're gonna see this content. So feel free to tune in, lock in, help us level up. In the meantime, y'all continue to level up. Y'all continue to do what you do. Enjoy your games. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy these snow days. Stay up, stay healthy, drink your water, and remember, if there's ever anything you want to do, all you have to do is press the start button. For now, we out.
Peace out.
Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me. I think I'm trapped. We always go through something like this. Come on, Loon. Where you go, bro?
Extended shot.